The weave is conceived in rich silks of silver and copper, of tinsel, thread, and string. In jewel-tone stained, resilient textiles, their reflective surfaces diffuse a wealth beholding both beauty and depth, a powerhouse's foundation. She is a pillar of grace, strength, fearlessness, and wisdom. In layered films of brocade and appliques, they grow into embroidered blossoms, each competing to please the eye of the beholder, each thriving and bleeding, each rising and wilting to become its own. To choose, to be, to grow is a blessing, an open door to some, but to others a psychological pilgrimage. The weave blends different roots to coalesce, different suits, a shared likeness, their destinies written in the palms of their petals, unfolding a story birthed from the same dust but nurtured in divergent waters. The weave outlines the life of a little girl who longed to be described like one of the fair maidens from her book of fairy tales. She asked to be treated with fairness, just never thought it'd be skin deep. Adorned in gold, her gilded crown freshly forged, molten honey drips from her hair, burning, blistering, bleaching the tainted flesh, her body's scars reflecting the ones from within. She dreamt of eyes of winter sea. In a porcelain body, she would only wish she'd be described with, painted with the same brush, with the same metaphors. Why was white a varied vernacular of fresh snowfalls and polished sheens of ivory and pearl, but dirt was the shade of every brown girl? Why couldn't she be the dusk of desert sand or the cinnamon in coffee? Why couldn't she be the crust of cedars or the mocha and oiled mahogany? Why was she a weed among a garden of roses? A blemish among buds and blossoms occasionally used for a splash of diversity? No one would pick her, so she picks herself up. The dirt in her skin will not soil her pride, will not be internalized as sin, will not patiently wait to be forgiven. It fertilizes the devil's trumpets, their stems entangled in the weave's thick bundle of fibers, suffocating her throat, stitching her lips shut, pulling her left and right. Hypocritically, she is wrong in different ways to different people. Her hair too coarse and wild, so she uses the seams from the weave to fashion herself a scarf. Where comes the travesty of modesty? She is a symbol of danger among the ignorant, one of shame in her own community, and one of crime among the powerful. Women can cover up to learn, but must uncover to teach. Unveil because she'll force her religion onto children. Cover up because she'll force herself onto men. Something so personal becomes the business of others. Her femininity, her modesty weaponized. The needle sows thorns into her sides. For every time she is patronized, the thread of choice becomes thinner and thinner, stringing her along increased limitations. She cannot go to school, for she'd be labeled a sinner. Who are they to deprive her of seeking out knowledge? Who are they to silence her? Who are they to exclude her from living her life? Who are they to erase a woman? You cannot beat a force of nature who fights for her sister's education, representation, and expression, who blooms against the pouring rain of the patriarchy, who strengthens her roots when hands grasp at her humanity, who flourishes in spite of being showered with disapproval, who thrives in adversity, who claws her way out of the branches, out of the weave. Her fingers work to the bone, for if she stops fighting for even just 1 second, she would reap nothing of what she had sown.